Totally forgot to bring my microphone over. How about that? Good morning, folks. Welcome to Mental Health Mondays. My name is Kenneth Thomas. On Mondays, I like to go live and talk about different aspects of mental health and, try to get some good information out there. And today, I'm really kind of feeling the impact of Naomi Judd's passing this weekend. And I grew up listening to the Judds. So, it's one of those things where, this was something, this was part of what I listened to and the music of my childhood in a lot of ways. So it's really kind of struck a chord with me. Now, I do want to let you know that if you're catching this live on Facebook, if you want to comment and have me be able to see who's commenting and that kind of thing, you need to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and that will get you to the link which will allow you to get permission to Facebook, so that way you can share with us. And so it's a bit hard to hear about somebody that I admired and somebody who was admired by so many people had lost their struggle with the disease of mental illness. And that's exactly how Winona and Ashley Judd talked about it. They lost their mother to the disease of mental illness. Now, I know there's a lot of people like, well, what does that even mean? It doesn't necessarily mean anything other than that was what she was dealing with. How she could have died from it, well, I have my own thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of other people do. But that's not really the point that I'm wanting to talk about here. What I'm wanting to talk about is that there are a lot of people who struggle with mental illness. And it's an illness. It is a disease. It is not something that is defective. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person isn't a good person or any of that kind of stuff. This is something that has to do with chemical, biological imbalances in the body that cause psychological aspects. It can be, there are often physical things that can cause these imbalances and these problems, head trauma being one of them. So there's so many different things that can cause all these different forms of mental illness. And the fact is that there's a lot of people who will not reach out or talk about it because they're embarrassed or they're ashamed, or there's always been this stigma. Now, I come from a military background. I'm a military brat, and I was a soldier. So, you want to talk about a group of people that are hidebound to not want to talk about what they may be struggling with. Soldiers and military personnel are definitely the kind of people like that. It's like, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm dealing a little bit. Yeah, I'm good. They're not going to reach out for help. They don't want to. But the fact of the matter is, folks, is that if you're struggling with things, you need to reach out. If you've twisted your ankle, Lord, yeah, I hope you're the kind of person who, if you broke a bone or you twisted something, you're going to go to the doctor and see about getting it fixed. Okay? If you're dealing with chronic depression, if you're dealing with different forms of mental illness, go to a doctor. It can be treated. Just like if you have a physical injury, If you have an illness that you're dealing with, go and get help. It is possible to it is possible to get help and to get better. Okay, I have dealt with depression and anxiety and stress eating and all these kind of things for as long as I can really remember in a lot of ways. I've had suicidal ideations at various points in my life. I remember when I was in high school, I was dealing with the fact that my parents were getting divorced. And I had started to cut my wrist. Now, I didn't go through with it. And one of my friends at high school noticed, and she got it brought to people's attention so that somebody would make sure I got help. And Julianne, I've never forgotten that you did that. And I thank you for that. And there have been other times when I've dealt with, those dark, depressing feelings. And it's one of those things that you just sometimes really have to come to grips with, that you need help. Now, in reading some of the articles and stuff about Naomi Judd's passing, I was really struck by something that she said in an interview, that she would come home after a tour or doing a show, and she would not leave the house for 3 weeks. She would not get out of her pajamas, and she would not practice normal hygiene. She'd just sit on the couch. Now, that may seem odd to some folks, but to anybody who's dealt with severe depression, you know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what that feels like. There are days when I have to get up and I have to force myself to get going and to do the things I know I need to do. Today, I really did not want to be here. I did not want to do this. I did not want to talk about this. I didn't feel like going live. I didn't want to do a damn thing, but I'm doing it. Part of that is my commitment to y'all, to talk about things that are hard to talk about, and to help bring to light that there is help out there. Now, as a veteran, if you are struggling with different aspects of mental illness, reach out to the VA. If it's service connected, they will absolutely help you. If it's not service connected, they're still going to help you find the help you need. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about with this is, and this is something that I think is really important. If you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, you reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 1-800-273-TALK 8255. Make that call, because when it comes down to it, suicide in a lot of ways is a permanent solution to a temporary situation. And I'll tell you right now, there are times when intellectually you may think it's a temporary situation, and you know that intellectually, but that doesn't mean that emotionally it feels that way. It feels like you're in such a dark, deep pit that you will never get out of it. And I'm living proof that with help, you can deal with it. You can get out of it. Now, if you're a veteran and you call this number, it's on the screen there. Press 1 after when it picks up, and it gives you the menu, and that will take you to the veteran crisis line. There's a lot of things out there that really just suck in this world. But one of the things that I do know is that there are people out there who genuinely care and who genuinely want to help you. There are people in your life that matter to you and to whom you matter a great deal. So if you're struggling with the disease of mental illness, if not for your own sake, for the sake of those that care about you and who depend on you, get help. Reach out to someone. And by all means, know that you are not alone. There are people out there that struggle with this all the time. I have days where it doesn't feel like there's anything going on. I'm just normal. And then there are days where it's everything I can do just to function. I have a service dog that helps me deal with my stress and anxiety and being out and doing different things. I have my office cat. She's laying right here on my desk. She keeps me from being too depressed. And I have 2 wonderful daughters who just seem to know sometimes when I need to hear it and will walk in, give me a hug, and just, Daddy, I love you. And I have an amazing wife who gives me reason every day to keep going. And if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for my wife and daughters, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here today. So I'm telling you, folks, the help is out there. And it is important that you remember that there are people that matter and that you matter to them. So again, if you or someone you know is dealing with suicide or suicidal ideations, call the number on the screen. They are there to help. And I want to thank Lauren for her comment. I don't know how dealing with bipolar would be, but I do understand anxiety and panic. Sometimes I think I wish I had some OCD tendencies because I can be a real mess. I'm glad that you're still here, Lauren, and I'm glad that you are getting help. And I thank you for sharing your comment, because part of the reason I do these Mental Health Mondays is because I want people to know that they're not alone. I want them to know that there are people they can reach out to. And I want people to know there's nothing wrong with getting the help you need. And life is worth living, and it's worth living well. So today is in memory of Naomi Judd, and in recognition of all those who have struggled with mental illness and those who continue to struggle. And for those of us that are continuing on, you're not alone. And we all love you. So if you're catching this on Facebook, please follow and leave your comments. I'd love to see them. If you're catching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And as always, folks, peace, love, and photography. And remember, everything can make a beautiful image, including you, especially you. Have a great afternoon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.